Hello everyone, and welcome to another of Dark Review's deck videos. Well, this is my Invoked horror deck. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll get started with it straight away. First, one Dark Arm Dragon. I use this just because it's an easy beat stick, that's it. No other reason, just for destruction and beat stick purposes. Next, I run triple Umbral Horror Unform. Unform is one of the best cards you can run in the deck. There is a downside with it though, that you have to run into your opponent with it. You don't have a choice. You attack your opponent's monster, you will take damage. Nowadays it'd be between 15 to, well, 3,000 to 4,000 points of damage you'd be taking. But the upside, you get special summon 2 Umbral Horrors from your deck, regardless of who it is. So you can summon another 2 Unforms to do the same again if you want, but I'm not that stupid. I normally go for one of these guys, which I run at 3, which is Umbral Horror Ghoul. Ghoul is essentially the Goblinberg of the archetype, except instead of changing to defense mode, it drops his own attack to 0. And you can only special summon an Umbral Horror with 0 attack from your hand, so it is a bit limiting, but it is really good for quick, easy exceed plays. Next, I run double Will-O-the-Wisp. When it's normal or special summoned, you can target any Umbral Horror and it becomes the same level. So essentially, you're guaranteed into a level 4. You can run this at 1 or 2. I prefer to run it at 2 myself, just to give me an extra monster in the deck for more defense, really. That's the end of the Umbral Horror engine. Next is Alistair the Invoker. This is one of my favorite cards recently released, and it's really good for some of the fusion monsters that are released nowadays, as you can discard from your hand and give a fusion monster an extra 1,000 attack. And when it's normal summoned, or flip summoned, you get to add its own fusion card from your deck to your hand, which I will show you later on. Next, I run triple Prisma, just to fill in for Alistair if I don't draw into him. If I got the fusion card in my hand, I can just use Prisma to get Alistair, makes easy plays. Next, double Monk, because summon a Monk, why the hell not? It gets you Alistair quicker if you got the fusion card, or Umbral Horrors if you want to do another combo. And finally for the monsters, one Trick Clown, just because I like Trick Clown. And it's a decent 2-hit shield. If you set it, it's destroyed, special select back in defense mode with 0. So I do like it. Next for the spells and traps, one Upstart Goblin, basic draw, and triple Allure of Darkness. That is pretty much all your draw engine for the deck. I know it's a lot, but it's a good way to get into what you need for your combo pieces. Next, I run double Emergency Call just to add Prisma. That's the only reason this is in the deck, but you can swap it out for anything you want, like Twin Twisters or MST. I'm not a big fan of that kind of destruction with this deck, but it's up to you. Next, I run one Fusion Conscription. This is not very good to have in your hand to begin with. You should only use this when you have an established field, considering you can add Alistair from your deck to your hand, but when you do, you can't normal or special summon, so it kind of fucks you over, really. One Recurring Nightmare. You can run this at 1 or 2. I only have 1 with the deck. I prefer just to have 1 with it, as it lets me target 2 dark type monsters 0 defense in my graveyard, add to my hand. So you can see I use this for my Umbral Horrors, just add them back to my hand if I want to make an exceed play. Next, one Foolish Burial, just to get Trick Clown in the graveyard, or, well, easy deck thinning. Next, one Dark Calling. This you can swap out for anything you want. I just put this in there because as a fusion monster I like to run with this deck, as it's quite easy to make. Next, I run double Terraforming, just to search out field spells. You can run this at triple, but I only like 2 in my deck. Next, for more of the Invoker support, Magical Meltdown. These are going for like £13 each right now, so you have to be willing to pay it, unfortunately. But when you activate it, you can add Alistair the Invoker from your deck to your hand, and when you fusion summon, they can't be negated, so it's a decent way to get your fusion plays on the field easier. And yes, I said easier. Next, the most expensive card in the entire deck, Invoked. I can't actually say the word. I've been trying to say this. You can read it. But anyway, this is going for like £34. But you can banish your opponent's cards from their graveyard's fusion material, so it is a really powerful combo maker in the deck. Next, I run triple Book of Law. Now, people argue about this, saying, oh, it's shit because you can't search it, but it is a good card to run in the deck, in my honest opinion, as it can swap out any of your invoked monsters from your extra deck and replace it with a new one in case you want to do more attacks. It's good just for the purpose of it being there and being made. Next, I run double Omega Summon. Omega Summon is quite useful in this deck, considering you can have a lot of banished invoked monsters. So it does balance out the deck quite well. And for the last card, which can be changed for anything you want, Pinpoint Guard, I use it just to get an indestructible wall if I'm going to lose. If someone attacks you, you just use this and you get a monster that can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects, and you'll end up taking no battle damage. So it's quite useful in tight situations. That's it for the main deck. Now for the side deck, I have one Evil Hero Dark Gaia. This is what I use the Dark Calling for. It's quite easy to make and it's really powerful. You can have 3 sets of attack, either 3,000, 4,800 or 5,300. So you're guaranteed a strong monster regardless what you're using for the summon. Next, for the Invoked, which can be up to you completely what you want. Invoked Elysium. This can banish your invoked monsters, and you can destroy your opponent's stuff equal to that. And it's treated as pretty much all the invoked attributes, so it's quite useful for easy combo plays. And you can use Omega Summon just to call back the stuff you banish. Next I have one Invoked Mechaba. This is your Solemn Strike of the deck, so I don't really need to run in my extra deck, considering I have enough lights to make this quite easily. You can run this at 1 or 2. I prefer to run it at 1 because I don't normally need to go into this when I've been testing the deck, but it's still good to be on the safe side. Next, I run triple of this guy. I'm just going to know them as their attributes because, well, they all are just different attributes, which is the Earth Invoked. It doesn't have an effect, but it's a decent beat stick, and it's good targeting for Dark Gaia when I do the fusion summons. Next, the Water Invoked. It's got the 6 Samurai effect from being able to attack in defense mode, but unfortunately its attack is forced to be the deciding. So you won't have a 2900 attacker, it will be 1800. But having it in defense is really useful for your deck, so I would recommend having one of him. Next, the Fire Invoked. For each card your opponent has, this card gains an additional 200 attack, so even if you're attacking into one card, that's 2500. So this is quite good late game when they have an established field, so you can have a decent beat stick. And this also does piercing damage, so it kind of does fuck over your opponent quite easily. Next, the Wind Invoked Raijin. I don't like this myself. I only run one of it, even in my side deck. But I only run him because he lets you flip down anything on the field during either player's turn. So say if your opponent's going to attack into you, you can just flip them onto face down and you're safe. Next, the Dark Invoked, which I use in combo with my Raijin. Just show you a quick setup. If someone attacks you from the Dark's effect, only one monster can attack this turn. Use his effect, change the attacking monster into face down defense position. So thus they've wasted their attack, you still have 2 monsters, and you can make an easy play later on with what you have. Now time for the Exceed monsters, but these can be swapped out for anything you want. When all the Link monsters come out, I'm planning to swap out all these. So first, Utopic Future, then Diamond Direwolf, Silent Honor Arc, Dark Rebellion, and Cowboy. These I am planning to swap out once, well, all the link monsters are released because you're going to need them, but right now these just do the job I want them to do really. Normal destruction, burn damage, stealing, attack gain, and monster stealing. That's it. And that's it for my Invoked Horror deck. I hope you enjoyed this, and just remember, everything in this deck can be swapped around with different cards if you don't like some things' abilities. You can swap out the Umbral Horror engine for, I don't know, Heroic Champion engine, or Clown Blade if you wanted to, but the deck works really well the way I've built it. So give it a try and just see if you want more spell and trap destruction in it, or if you want Solemn Strikes or anything. It is 41 cards, so you can swap out anything you want or add whatever you want. It's almost at the minimum. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and